to the Empowered Path podcast. This is your host, Jessa Francis. As always, I want to say thank you for being here with me today. I am truly honored to anyone that is willing to spend some time with me and listen to all of the things that I have to share and say. Today, I am starting day one of a 3-part series. If you follow me on social media, you may have seen that every single Wednesday, I have been doing affirmations. And I have found in my life that affirmations have been really helpful for me. And really, they started becoming a thing. I think they probably started quite earlier than this, but when I think I really started like consciously implementing them and saying them to myself, like looking in the mirror and saying these things, was back when I was about 26. And I think all of us, our brain fully forms right around that age, and all these different things come to life and the world takes on a new shape right around the age of 25. And so I was in a position where I was very unhappily married to my husband at the time, who was constantly deployed. We had 2 young children at that time. I had just had my second daughter, and I was living at home in Indiana while he was deployed yet again, and just lonely and dealing with low self-esteem and not feeling very pretty and, all of these things, trying to be the best mother that I could be, but also really struggling with my relationship in particular. For most of my life, I have been somewhat love obsessed, if you will. And I think it's very common for a lot of girls, especially because, it is marketed to us: romance, love, passion, to have a partner that completes you, your soulmate, right? And so I was dealing with a lot of internal turmoil and pain over not feeling like I had that in my relationship and in my marriage, and just loneliness and not feeling like I was worthy of love. And I wanted to be. And part of the thing that just kept coming up is, I'm just not pretty enough. I'm not, I don't have this or I don't have that. I wasn't enough or I was too much. Or it's the same old story that so many of us say to ourselves. And I started using affirmations and saying things to myself like, I am beautiful, I am worthy, I am whole, I am confident, I am strong, I am intelligent, just very basic affirmations. I am this thing, right? I wanted to feel confident. I wanted to feel intelligent. I wanted to feel beautiful, and I didn't. And so I was implementing those specific words into my regular daily life. I was saying them while I was driving. I was saying them in the mirror while I was getting ready. I just started talking to myself and implementing these thoughts. And this was, I didn't think that it made a really big impact, but I know now that it really did. And so now the affirmations I use are very particular. I definitely still do use affirmations regularly, but they are always used to really get to the root, the core, the seed of, whatever problem I'm dealing with, right? So, for example, my sense of not feeling pretty, not feeling beautiful enough. Instead of just saying, I am beautiful, I am worthy of feeling beautiful. I love the color of my eyes. I love and respect my body. I really get into the nitty gritty of these fear-based lack mentality thoughts that have been put in and are being used regularly by my ego to attack me. And so anyhow, every Wednesday on Instagram or Facebook, whichever platform you may have followed me on, I have been getting on there and helping people understand more about affirmations and how to really use them and implement them into your life in a way that can truly, truly support you and help you. And I'm doing the same 3-part series on there, but I wanted to use the podcast platform as a way to really kind of dive in and go a little bit deeper into this topic and into these specific areas. So what we're going to be talking about is really limiting beliefs. And the limiting belief is what builds up that ugly relationship that we're having, that unfulfilled relationship that we're having with ourselves. And there are typically 3 major areas that we have these problems, that we have these limiting beliefs about. And they are our relationship with money and our sense of self-worth about money and financial wealth. And then our body story and, how we look at ourselves physically, our relationship to ourselves on that physical level, and whether we feel worthy because of the shape of our body or our weight or our eye color or skin or hair or whatever it is, that we don't feel worthy because of our physical body, right? We don't feel worthy of money. We don't feel worthy of the physical body, of having anything good in life because of our physical body. And then the other third one is love, relationships, feeling like we are worthy of having love and being loved. We're worthy of a healthy, happy, joyful relationship. And so all of these are built throughout our life and in our childhood based on what we are taught, what we see, what we absorb, how we're programmed, and all of these things. And it takes a lot of doing this deep work, this shadow work, this working on the inner child and reconnecting with the inner child and recognizing your story, your patterns, what is happening. And this work is profound. And I personally offer a memoir writing program to help you truly go through the shadow work in a way that is unlike any other. There are so many different, let's look into your dreams, or let's, do these specific journaling prompts or whatever it is. But memoir writing has been the most impactful, powerful tool that I have had beyond the meditation and the body movement. And I integrate the meditation and the body movement and all of the things, a very whole health, holistic approach to my memoir writing programs. So today we're going to start with our money story. And I'm going to share my money story with you, and it may just very well resonate with you on one level and give you some maybe epiphanies or aha moments for yourself where you're like, oh, you know, that's why I think and feel the way I do. And that is my hope for today. So, growing up, I remember that money came from hard work. You had to, that was like the most precious value that was in my home growing up, was we valued the hard work. That was the American dream, right? You worked hard and you accomplished what it is that you were after. If you could just grind yourself down to the bone as much as possible, and both my parents were heavy equipment construction workers, so it's hard physical labor. And that particular thought was ingrained into me, that I wasn't going to get anything in this life if I didn't just grind myself into the dirt. I had to really work in order to get anything that I was after, and that there was no get out of jail free card. There was no ability to be creative. You had to be very practical. And so I had this, I'm just a blue collar little country girl. That was my identity. And so because I had that in my mind, that getting money required hard work and sacrifice. And that was a huge thing. My parents had to sacrifice their relationship with me. My parents had to sacrifice what they really wanted to do in this life. My mom wanted to be an artist, but she couldn't because she had to work. and that was the only way that she was going to get to a point where maybe in so many years when she retired, then she could live some sort of life of luxury, right? You worked your entire life and then you got to retire, but then you're too old to do anything with the rest of it. And it seemed unfair, right? But then that was another thing I was told. Life is unfair. Life is unfair. Life is hard. Those were the things I was taught. And so that was my money story. It's not fair. You have to work hard. You can't do the things that you want to do. That was money. And some people are born with it, right? But I wasn't. Some people are born with luxury. They're born to parents who, had the money. And I was the blue collar country girl. And so I was separate. I was different. I didn't fit in that category. And then I know for sure my mother had this story that money was evil. That's what she had been taught growing up. And I think my dad probably had something similar, not exactly, but my grandfather, my mother's father especially, he just ingrained into his children, and he had it ingrained into his mind that money was the root of all evil. And so anybody that had a lot of money was not a good person. So all of these big, rich, famous people out there in the world, they weren't actually good people. They were what was making the world a bad place. It was the people with money who didn't do the right things. And so there was also like this self-sabotage. Like apparently my grandfather, who was an incredibly intelligent person, I think I was told that he had an IQ of 180, was a helicopter engineer. He built and designed helicopters, incredibly intelligent, had all of these insane opportunities to thrive and to get more money and to become a manager and to move up in the business, and he would quit, or he would do something to get fired, or he would leave the company because he would sabotage himself to make sure that he didn't get that money because the money was bad. And if he got the money, he was going to become a bad person. And so that was there. So there's this interplay of, I need the money to survive, but I don't want too much, because if I get too much, I'm going to be a bad person. So there's self-sabotage to make sure that we stay in our quote unquote blue collar little country girl role. And so I had, it became something that I had to work through, as someone sitting here now who is striving to be financially secure, to be able to take care of my family, to no longer, stick by the rules that have been programmed into me, but rather write my own rules and to move forward in my life with my own right. Like, no, I don't have to grind myself into the dirt. I don't have to give up my dreams and aspirations. I don't have to give up my, what I really love to do, all of the creative, imaginative things, my writing, my art, my speaking, these things, like they can provide for me financially. And I had to rewrite that story. Well, I had to first recognize that's what was happening. That's what was thinking. Those are the patterns that had been implemented into my mind. That's where it's stemming from, right? And so when those very unconscious thoughts and feelings and actions and habits that I have, because most of the time we're not even noticing that we're sabotaging ourselves. We really don't. It's not until we really figure it out and see, okay, that's affecting me. This is how it's affecting me. These are the patterns that have played out in my family system. This is, where it came from. And you can go back generations, and not only are you going to feel amazed at what you find when you dig into your ancestry, but you're also going to be able to truly, all of a sudden, awaken to that, wow, that is what my family went through. This is where I came from. And see it as this beautiful thing, as a way to learn, as a way to grow, as a way to make your ancestors proud by breaking the chain and moving forward into your own special way of living your life with more love and less fear, because that is the big thing. It was all fear-based. Everything was fear-based because of the trauma that had happened generation after generation after generation. The implementing over and over and over again through down the line on all the four corners and then some. And then say, I am going to grow new branches, and they're going to be fresh, and they're going to be more beautiful and vibrant, and they're going to bear fruit and flower. And that is the goal, right? And to do that, there's, all of these different ways. But for me, and what has worked, is sitting down and writing out that story, because I have found more in the story than I can even say to you now. I'd have to read you my book, which I hope to in the future. But I've been able to recognize and see all of that, process it, and release it. And affirmations, wrapping back around to affirmations, and now I can take and tailor these specific words and thoughts and phrases into my daily life when these unwanted patterns and themes come up, right? So when I start feeling fearful of success because I'm not worthy of it, or, I was never made for money. I was made for construction work and being and working the dirt, and I can rewrite that script with implementing these new words into my life and into my mind, and not letting that script just keep playing as is, like, no. Now I'm going to say something new. Now I'm going to build something new. Now I'm going to say I am worthy of financial abundance. I am worthy of financial abundance. Money comes to me and I use it in a good way. I love money. Instead of I'm fearful of money, instead of money is the root of all evil, money has the power to help me help the world. I can switch everything around and contradict those patterns and say, nope, that bus stops here. We're going to get into a different vehicle and move forward now. And so I hope that gives you a little more clarity around money. If I could recommend anything, it would be to join me in one of my upcoming workshops. I have a few different coming up. I have a journal writing masterclass being held in the Empowered Path, and journaling, of course. If you're not ready to step into memoir writing, journaling can definitely help. And I can take you through the different types of journaling and how to set you up for success if you want help there. And even if you're an avid journaler, I highly recommend this class, because I've journaled my entire life and found out that I was actually hurting myself in the end because I wasn't doing it in a healthy way. And the other thing is to just join me in my memoir writing. It's so powerful, and you can hone in on these specific limiting beliefs, whether it's money, body, love, past, present, future, all the things, and really learn for yourself and do that deep inner child work and reparent and reintegrate the right thoughts, the right feelings, so that you can own your life and move forward into success and abundance and joy and a sense of self-worth and confidence. And it's a beautiful thing when that shifts, let me tell you. And then, just be on the lookout, because over the next couple weeks, we're going to be diving in and looking at our relationship with the body and our relationship with relationships and love. And I will be sharing more of my story with those particular themes to give you a better idea and that example. And I know that most of you will be able to resonate and see yourself in my story and help you get started in rewriting your own. So I'd like to invite you to take a big, deep inhale, exhale. I'd like to remind you that the world is spinning, 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 but you don't need to spin. You can slow down and you can breathe. And I promise it may feel like you don't have time for it because there's so many things to do. But you always have time to take a few deep breaths, to calm yourself down, to give yourself love. And I hope that you all feel seen, heard, and loved here with me. And I hope to be here with you again next week. I hope you have a beautiful and happy day.